My man said you laying next to a man that can't pull $500 out the ATM. Wake the hell up. Listen here, man. Most people in America, most men come from poverty, come from poor circumstances. I'm pretty sure he did, and I did. At one point in my life, I couldn't pull $500 out the ATM. I'm pretty sure at one point in his life, he couldn't pull $500 out the ATM. Now the thing is, was you saying this when you couldn't pull $500 out the ATM? A lot of us men, we get in these positions and start getting money, and then we forget where we come from, and we start lacking empathy and compassion for the brothers who's in a position that we once were in. So, I mean, I get what he's trying to say. He's basically trying to tell women to, date someone who can provide. But at one point, I'm pretty sure you couldn't provide, brother. We all come from that. So you got to give people time to grow. I say this all the time. Everybody's timing in life is different. God got a time for everybody. At one point in time in life, I didn't have $500 in the bank. And it probably was a lot of dudes out there that did. I had to wait my turn. I had to keep grinding. So when you come up and you start getting money, you can't start just talking about people, man, and talking down on people because you got it now.
That's real.
Be who you was when you was broke. Your character really shouldn't change much when you get paper. If anything, you should get more kinder, have more compassion, be more giving. But you shouldn't change in a negative way when you start getting the paper. When you start getting the paper, you shouldn't, talking down on people, man, I'm just ain't with it, man. So I understand what he's trying to say, but sometimes you gotta work with a brother, because he probably can't pull $500 out the bank today, but in 6 months he might get into a position where he can pull $500,000 out the bank. As long as he's trying and he's working and he's showing work ethic and he's really trying, give a brother a shot, man.
Man, that was deep, man. And man, it's crazy out here. But it's really men out here shaming other men for having less money. And it's disgusting. Because as a man, you are not defined by how much money you have. And your character should not be defined for how much money you have. Sure, it gives you some more pride, something to be proud about, right? But this is an overlooked issue that can have significant emotional and social impacts. And if you're a man out here shaming other men for not having a certain amount of money, if you're a woman out here that's shaming a man for not having it, go help that man get some. Go show him the way, lead him to the water. I mean, you can't teach him how to drink. You can't make him drink, right? But if you're not gonna lead the way, then don't even open your mouth. And see what these people lack who shame other people for what they have and what they don't have. They lack many things, but one of these things is understanding, grace. And And what you have to understand is a lot of us come from nothing. You know, us black people especially come up in a country where for over 500 years, we built this country off of free labor, right? Didn't make nothing. So many other races got a head start, whether that be coming from another country to come here to up their money, to being in this country and they family was here from generation to generation. Not only that, with this whole Trump era going around, jobs have been harder. It's been harder to get jobs. People are literally passing you up because you put black on the application. So now I'm just starting like, I do not want to identify, because why are you even identifying my race on the job application rather than looking at my competencies and seeing if I'm qualified based off of that, based off of my work history, or based off of my interview, right? They are sending those emails quick. Oh, I'm sorry, we're looking at other candidates. Whole time you overqualified for the position. Then the system sets you up to where women are incentivized to make it harder for men. They're incentivized to not be in a partnership with men where everybody could be winning and working together. They're incentivized to take child support out your check, garnish your check. So at the end of your check, you know, you got $500 and you got bills to pay. They incentivized to leave you with Section 8. They're incentivized to not have a man in the house. They're incentivized to not work through that pain and trauma in that relationship. Not just by the government, but they can go get their own jobs and make money. And now they looking down at you. And it's disgusting. Because now we're being judged off the color of our skin, the weight of our pockets, and everything that we ever did good seems to count for nothing. Society often places a strong emphasis on men being providers and achieving financial success as a measure of their worth. And this pressure can lead a man to internalize the idea that their value is tied to their net worth. And as a result, when men achieve financial success, they may inadvertently or deliberately look down at those who haven't, as a way to reinforce their own sense of worth, their own sense of self-worth. And the only thing that these men get out of that, and these women get out of that, that shame people for not having as much money as them, is they get a temporary boost in their own ego to feel secure in their position. They get to brag about their jobs and how much they make. And you got to realize this behavior. You know, it's just another form of one-upping someone, you know, upmanship, where they need to prove their superiority to feel validated. If I ever had $1 million, yo, I wouldn't even tell y'all. I wouldn't even lead with my money. And it's a shame that we have to lead with something that's physical. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to have money. You know, it's every man's desire to take care of 100% of a woman's finances, 100% of their family, and make sure they're good. You should want that. But if you're not there, you shouldn't feel bad. You shouldn't feel less than. Because when you operate in a state of lack, you know, it keeps you in that vibration. When you're operating on a state of lack, you're focusing on the physical. And in order to win in this life, you have to focus on your mental, so that the physical can reflect your mental. A lot of people are looking at the mirror and wanting the mirror to change without changing what's inside of them. So what you have to do is you have to ignore what your five senses are telling you. You have to ignore what the enemy is telling you. There are many thoughts in your mind that you don't even produce. They just come to you. And they're telling you, I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not man enough. I don't deserve this woman. I don't deserve this life. I don't deserve a good job. I don't deserve to be free. I don't deserve better. I can't do it. And when those thoughts pop up, you have to keep telling yourself, I can, I will, I must, I can, I will, I must, I can, I will, I must, I am worth it. I am smart. I am powerful. Because if you're not doing it, then who is doing it? Social media sure isn't doing it for us. They're telling us you're not enough. Look at the caption. You're laying next to a man that can't pull $500 out of the bank. Wake up. No, y'all need to wake up from this whole existence of earth, thinking that this financial stuff is the most important thing when the spiritual is the most important thing. Because what the Bible says is, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you. And you know, the examples of men shaming other men will be like, you can't afford that? Maybe you should have invested better, or I guess not everyone can handle their finances like I do. Or excluding you, excluding you from events or activities, not giving you the information that can help you out, gatekeeping, stuff like that. Or directly mocking or ridiculing you for your financial situation. Such as, you're still driving that old car, you need to upgrade. That's embarrassing. And they do a lot of unnecessary flaunting. Purposefully flaunting their wealth in front of those who are less fortunate. And, I don't care. Do whatever makes you feel good. It doesn't affect me because I'm solid, right? I have things that I can appreciate. But you see it and you know why they're doing it. It's because they want to get a reaction, not just out of you. They want the women to be attracted to that because they know, if I can put that shit on, I got her. If I can show her I can provide, I got her. And women will fall for it, not knowing this man is not the man that you should be dealing with. And this really can take an impact on guys. And that's why I want to talk about this, because, that's the culture. And it'll make you feeling inadequate, embarrassing, and make you have low self-worth. Being excluded from social events can make you really feel alone. But don't feel bad about it. Just put the work in. Don't complain about it. Just put the work in. And don't expect for it to come instantly. Don't allow this stuff to make you build up resentment towards those who are shaming. Open communication and empathy can go a long way in addressing the issue. And men who have achieved financial success should be more mindful in their actions and the impact they have on others. But no, they want to gatekeep, when they should be creating an inclusive environment where financial success is not the sole measurement of a man's worth. They should be mitigating these issues. Additionally, Social norms around masculinity and success need to evolve to reduce the pressure on men to define themselves socially and solely by their financial achievements. This is power, what separates the boys from the men. And until next time, the world is yours.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.